Glory Baby Earth Angels. I'm so grateful you decided to spend another spiritual Saturday with us. I want to start the day with the question. Have you ever walked into a room and before you even said hello, you knew somebody was upset? You could feel it. Maybe their voice sounded different, or maybe they were quieter than usual. Maybe they refused to look at you. Suddenly, your brain's flooded with questions like, what did I do? Are they mad at me? Do I need to fix this? Should I apologize? If you've ever experienced this, you might be a people pleaser. We're not going to talk about people pleasing like it's simply being too nice. People pleasing is what happens when we become accustomed to monitoring. Babe, how do you say this word?
Monitoring?
Monitoring?
Yeah, monitoring.
Okay. People pleasing is what happens when we become accustomed to monitoring.
Yes,
monitoring everyone else's emotions that we forget to check in with our own. And sometimes we don't realize we're doing it. We just know that someone else's discomfort makes our entire body uncomfortable. Today, we're asking a different question. When did someone else's feelings become our responsibility?
So grab your favorite drink, don't forget your snacks, and let's dig in.
So tell them what snacks you have, babe.
Kept it very light today. As you can see, I got these Goldfish vanilla cupcake graham crackers. They kind of taste like golden Oreos, which I like. So I realized this is kind of like a substitute for that. And Rice Krispie treat and water. Very light, very simple.
This is his healthy choice, guys. Okay, so I have some cherries here. I have some sweet potato sticks. I got these at Costco. If y'all try these, I'm a texture girl. A lot of textures like make me, I don't know, not enjoy things, or they're not good for, like, not they're not good for me, I just don't enjoy it. But when I leave these open overnight on the counter, they get a little harder, so then I can actually eat them. And then I just have like a Olipop here, strawberry vanilla, and then I have my water as well. Right? So let us know in the comments down below what snacks you brought to the table.
Yes, please.
Let's get back to it, shall we? Imagine a child standing in the middle of a room. They're watching everybody. Is mom okay? Is dad angry? Did somebody have a bad day? Is someone starting to argue? Should I be quiet or make everybody laugh? Should I help or disappear? That child becomes really good at reading the room. They learn to notice the smallest changes in people's voices, facial expressions, moods, and energy. They make the unconscious decision. If I can predict the storm, maybe I can prevent it. That's weather forecasting. Some of us grow up to become adults who still do it.
Often we walk into a room and immediately begin scanning it. Who's happy, who's irritated, who needs something, who isn't talking, who might be offended, or who needs reassurance. But most of the time, we never ask ourselves, how am I doing? Here's where people pleasing gets tricky, because you're never consciously thinking, I'm going to abandon myself today. You're thinking, I just don't want anybody to be upset. And that sounds loving, but sometimes underneath that is fear. If you're upset,
You're unsafe.
if you're disappointed,
You failed.
if you're angry,
You need to fix it.
if you're unhappy with me,
I can't love you anymore.
stings, doesn't it?
I've spent my entire life monitoring everyone else's emotional state instead of tending to my own. I'm the oldest daughter. My mom and dad were both absent, and I had 4 younger siblings who were looking to me to fix our burdens. By the time I was 18, I was already a mom to my oldest son. I have been caretaker for as long as I can remember. Okay, so in my notes here, I just wrote talk about childhood people pleasing, and we're going to talk about stories of people pleasing or in relation to people pleasing. Just as a child, I always remember not wanting people to want me around. So I want to do things to or try to do things that I thought would be helpful to them, like cleaning, or I was just very obedient. Anyone could tell me to do something, and just to keep them from kind of being on the edge, I don't know, I would try to predict what would make them happy or what would make them feel loved. I think I kind of need your help opening up, because I notice I keep it very surface level whenever I'm talking, but whenever it's me and you, I can kind of like really dive deep.
So, in regards to me, when it comes to people pleasing, my people pleasing, it doesn't really stem from like wanting this person to like me or how I'm perceived as. That never really affected me. It was more so how I was raised. I was always raised as a kind person. I'm a good person with a good heart. And I'm not just saying that to, like kind of brag about it or come off as a certain way. I know who I am and I know I'm a genuine person with genuine intentions. And the people pleasing, when you want to say, when you say yes, when you want to say no, part of me doesn't, because I have this thought that, well, if I do this, I hope that the person that I'm helping out, or even in general, I hope that it's returned back to me. I hope if I'm in that situation, the same kindness that I've imparted onto that person is returned back to me. That's where kind of like my people pleasing comes in, and personally, I can't leave somebody in a bad place, especially if they're in need of help. And at times though, when we want to say no, but we're saying yes, though, it is like a battle of consciousness almost, or like morality in a way. Like you don't really want to help this person, not because you're a bad person, but because you need to advocate for yourself. One yes that you say to somebody could immediately, have them take advantage of you, from big things to small things, and you could lose yourself in that process.
I kind of have that belief too, that's how my people pleasing started. My grandpa was really big in the church, and really big in religion is, what is it? Do unto your neighbors as
Yeah, I think do unto your neighbors as you do unto yourself.
Yeah, something like that. And I just remember always kind of taking that and clinging to it, and turning the other cheek when for bad behavior, things like that. I don't know word for word. I'm not religious, but I just remember growing up as a child trying to understand those things, and my grandpa being the person that I wanted to most be like, and him being religious or big in the church, because his brother was a pastor and his mom was even bigger in the church. I wanted to be like him, so I would be at Sunday school and Wednesday Bible study, trying to learn these things, trying to implement them in my life as well. But also too, on the other side of that, just trying to make sure the household was calm, So it was like double stacked for me. And we also, in elementary school, were taught the golden rule: treat others how you want to be treated.
Yes.
So I would carry those kind of principles around with me. They developed into people-pleasing tendencies. And not only did they develop into people-pleasing tendencies, I think that even though you're saying you were doing it with the hopes that it would be like kind of like karma, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it would be returned to you in like a good way, I still think it was like a way of trying to get people to like us. Like, it was still, if I do this good thing for you, then I'm showing up for you, you'll show up for me, you'll like me.
No. The fact that you open up that portal though, like if you help somebody out, or if you assist them, or just, like say yes when you want to say no with whatever they need from you, though, it presents this idea that, you show up for them, that you're a reliable person, that they could count on you, and it kind of paints you in a different light though. So the question,
a reliable light.
Yes, a reliable light though. So the question, one needs to ask is, aside if they're a genuine person or not, though, are they doing it, from the bottom of their heart, or to just be perceived a certain way? And this might contradict what I said earlier today, because I know like parts of us, especially me, specifically, I'll do something because, I want to help the person also too though, but I can't lie when, part of me doesn't feel like it's kind of like a pat on the back, like, well, I did something good, or that's like another, like, the decorative badge that I've gotten, like this moral badge, that like, oh, like, I'm a good person and I have the proof to show it that I'm a good person,
Yeah, but I mean, how is it proof to show it if no one can see those badges but you? Like,
I
you
guess
can
it's
tell
an internal
me.
thing. It's like a self-validation thing.
Yeah,
actually.
but outside of self-validation too.
It's a definite self-validation thing. It's kind of, like remembering to practice what you preach, almost like keep yourself accountable. Yes.
Okay. And I think too, that's what we have to learn, like with this seed that we're planting today, is there's a difference between like showing up, like caring about somebody's feelings, and being accountable for somebody's feelings, or not even just their feelings, but their emotional state. because like kind of like with the whole Jazz situation. I think I talk about that because that's the biggest. It was a people pleasing thing. You were trying to please me because you liked me, right? And you wanted me to like you. And like you said, it happened at the beginning of our relationship because that's when you wanted me to be interested in you, right? I think that you and I both, and I think you do this too, and you don't even realize. I'm always telling you stop apologizing. Do you think I'm like being mean to you, or do you think I'm just like being dismissive of like your apologies?
It's funny you say that though, because I don't think you're being either. Actually, I think you're just letting me know, like, hey, you don't have to do that. I think you're kind of like prepping me, like, so it doesn't become second nature.
Yes.
But the thing is, though, I only say that to you. I don't ever say that to anybody else, though. Like with you, you're the only one that I say that to.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I don't think I've ever seen you say it to anyone else either. But we're mostly just around one another. Like we don't really hang out with anyone else or anything like that. But too, still, I mean, even with me, I don't want you to feel like.
I guess also too, it's still me wanting to be like gentle with you still. Like even if I say something or do something that may come off a little bit as unlike me though, to apologize for that, and maybe like, because it sounds like I could be oblivious to my actions though, so, I like adding like an apology to that though, I just want to like reinforce that, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that if you took it a certain way or not, because sometimes too though, you take things and you interpret them a different way than what I intended also too.
I'm not talking about those times though. I'm talking about whenever you're just like randomly apologizing. Like I'll say something and you're like,
but that's
sorry,
the motive why,
sorry.
like I'm doing it though. Like maybe like that motive is like embedded in like my head to the point where it's like I just say it as kind of like a word vomit almost.
And that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's an unconscious response. And that's why first of all, the apology means nothing because you're just saying it just to say something. It's just like a filler. Just like when we use like and it's just a filler for our conversation. And that's why also another reason why I tell you don't say you're sorry, because you're not really sorry, and two, like it's just an unconscious thing that you're doing. I'm talking about whenever you apologize and it's like, I'm like, Gabe, you left the door open, and you're like, I'm sorry. It's like, you're not really sorry. You're just saying something to say something. It doesn't even sound authentic. It sounds like when you're just mumbling.
No, because the reason is like I'm not like, it's not lost upon me that I know the sorry has no weight though when I do something the many times that you tell me to do it though, but it's like, let me, it's like, other than, like showing the action to repair it though, let me just say, I'm sorry, even though the sorry doesn't mean anything at the moment. I'm gonna mention, who though, but like, how do I like say that? Because I know you don't want it to be named, but would you consider that a people pleasing moment? Like, where you people please? Like, I know you like boundaries, but like, did you ever find yourself like people pleasing or like with her or no?
I don't know. I think it might be a little different because she would kind of more so like use the whole "I'll kill myself." So, but I guess that's more of me being responsible for her like emotions than like saying like, okay, I'm here for you, I support you, but I can't be responsible for this. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of manipulation
to
put onto me.
You took the words right out of my mouth though. When we people, in regards to your story, when we people please a specific person, that person uses that as leverage to weaponize it and manipulates us. They try to like tarnish like, a track record of you always saying yes. And the moment you decide to say no, they begin to weaponize it, saying, oh, like you're a bad person, or like, start throwing stones at you.
You kind of brought up one of my exes. And he was like, how do you feel about if I mention, your situation with people pleasing with her? Do you think that was a type of people pleasing? And at first I was like, no, I don't, because I didn't really see it until right now, us talking through it, he kind of brought it to the forefront. Like, it is a form of people pleasing because she would always use like, oh, she's going to hurt herself or she'll kill herself, and kind of put that on my conscience. Like, now you're responsible for if I die. And when we talk about that type of emotional abuse or mental abuse, that me staying around made me responsible for her emotional her emotional turmoil. That's what people pleasing is. It's trying to be the one to control everyone else's feelings. I'm gonna run on and on. My kids are running around in the background. They keep making different noises, and every little thing distracts me, so I can't keep my train of thought. I think with the spiritual blueprint, I might have to start recording it during their school hours, so that way they're not here and it's not like distracting to my ADHD neurodivergent brain, and I can actually do this properly without us being all over the place. Because even though I write everything out, now that my kids are here and the house is moving around and there's so many background noises, and it's just all over the place. It's becoming word vomit. Like I can't keep my train of thought straight. And yeah, I don't want to beat my kids to make them listen to me. So we're just gonna go back to reading this. There are a few more questions where we're gonna, just explain some more things or have discussions about things. But for now, let's go back to that. Looking back, I realized I wasn't just trying to be nice. I was trying to control an outcome I couldn't actually control. Babe, when someone you love is upset, how much responsibility do you think you have for making them feel better?
I think it's a lot of responsibility. Because if someone I love, like if you're upset though, then that, that affects me. I want to remedy the situation or find out the root of the problem. If there's if you're in like a bad mood or if you're just grumpy about something, I want to at least make the attempt to understand, what's going wrong and see if I could, fix the issue or just, I guess soften what's going on in your mind or in your heart.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And he does, guys. He does a really good job. He's really sweet to me. He really does make me feel like he cares and he does his best to show up. He always shows up. What did I tell you the other day? I think I said you always save the day. That's what I said. I was like, yeah, thank you. You always save the day.
Oh, I think okay.
Yeah. Remember? When I was having a problem with my computer?
Yeah. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Do you think there's a difference between caring that someone is upset and believing you caused their feelings?
Yes, I think there's a difference that you could care about, someone like you caring about somebody's upset, is like a natural response, like a well-being, like just kind of making sure that they're okay. But when you find out that you're the cause of their anger or of their hurt, though, it hits a different way though, because you're ultimately responsible for how they are, and that definitely could leave a wound on you as an individual, depending how much did you hurt them. That you're like the architect of their pain. So I think there is a huge difference. I think when you realize that you hurt somebody, you become more responsible. You take on this like weight or baggage of trying to remedy it as fast as you can, opposed to if somebody's just mad at something else, though, it's a little bit easier, a little bit it's more lighter for you to kind of approach them. But when you find out that you're the reason of their hurt, though, the stakes are a little bit high, and it's like walking on glass almost.
I would say I agree with you, but there was a point that you made that I wanted to go back and touch, like touch on the surface. Just because you said something along the lines of, when you cause someone pain, right? Then you are responsible for that hurt. I think that's what you said, but I'm not too sure. Because I'm not too sure, I think I'm just going to move on to the next question. Because do you remember? You said a lot, but I'm trying to remember exactly what you said, because my mind was forming a thought about it, but then I lost that thought. So now it's just like.
But you want me to kind of paraphrase what I was saying?
No, because I have a paraphrase, but I think my mind was kind of stuck. Like my mind was picking at your specific words, but I know you were speaking generally, the way you formed that sentence made it seem like as if you're responsible for their actions. But I understand you're not saying you're responsible for their actions. You are saying you're just speaking generally maybe about that you
I'm responsible for like the situation, like the hurt their feelings, the emotions
yes
that they feel.
they well kind of that they feel because we are in control of our own emotions. But like I can be angry because you didn't take out the trash, but me yelling and screaming at you because you didn't take out the trash is maybe not the right way to go about it. Me saying, babe, I'm really disappointed because I asked you to take out the trash and that was just one more thing that I have to do because you didn't do it, or we're gonna have multiple bags sitting outside the door because you didn't take out the trash when I asked you to. So I'm trying to I understand paraphrasing. That is what you were trying to get at, but my brain was like nitpicking at that sentence structure. That's all that was. So that's what I'm saying. I was trying to think of why is my brain picking at that? Is there something deeper you want to cover? Is there a topic or a point you're trying to make from there? What about when someone's upset with you? Do you think their feelings automatically mean you've done something wrong?
Yeah, I do think. I think one naturally would think that they did something wrong. If somebody's upset with you, you start kind of like going back through like the memories, like, oh, like what did I do? Like, did I do this? Did I do that? Though, did I do this a certain way? Did I say that? Especially like you said, if somebody's upset with you. So I think it is natural and I can only speak for myself, to automatically think that you're in the wrong.
And so, because I've had a lot of situations where I've gotten in trouble for times that I didn't do anything wrong, I kind of see that differently. I don't. If someone is upset with you or disappointed with me, then I don't automatically assume that I did something wrong, because I think back to like the first thing that popped in my head was working like as a teenager in Whataburger. And this older white man came to my counter and he was, kind of berating me. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Berating?
Reprimanding.
Yeah, berating me because berating, or what's it?
Tomato, but I know what you mean.
But I want them to know.
Berating?
It's berating.
Yeah.
Berating. Okay, so he was berating me because I messed up his change. Like, I was supposed to give him back like a dime or something like that. And he was like making comments like, oh, that's why N-words shouldn't work at the counter. They're R-words, So I think about times like that. I think about the whole cop situation. I think about another time when I worked at a store, and this white man wanted to speak with the manager, and he was getting upset with me. So he actually started telling the manager that I was a liar when I said that he was yelling and screaming because he wants to speak with the manager. He was like, that's a lie. How many times have I asked you to get your manager, and I've been standing here for how long? I was like, you literally just walked up. My manager walked up like 2 minutes later because he heard the man when he started yelling and screaming, So I think about times like that, and it's like, I used to believe that if somebody was angry with me, it's because I had done something wrong. Like as a little girl, teenager, growing into myself as an adult. But when I think back to those times, sometimes it's just people projecting their own anger. They don't know where to place that anger, and not even just anger, but other emotions as well. Sometimes people are spiteful. Sometimes people are just mean. We have the saying, misery loves company.
Yeah.
And I think that's sometimes what it is. Sometimes people need to make you feel bad so they can feel better about themselves.
No, that is true. I definitely agree with that. People, they want to their misery is contagious, their hate for themselves is contagious. They want to make you feel about yourself, about how they feel about themselves.
That's where they found their power, and kind of...
They want to corrode you with their hate that they feel for themselves.
Yeah, and degrading others. Degrading, belittling, just being kind of mean. This is where people pleasing becomes complicated, because empathy says, I see that you're hurting. Emotional responsibility says, you're hurting means that I have to fix it. I can care about your feelings without becoming responsible for regulating them. I can listen. I can apologize when I've genuinely done something wrong. I can make repairs. I can offer comfort. I can even sit beside you in your sadness, but I cannot live your emotions for you. and neither can you. I think that is worded a little funny, but basically vice versa.
But I get what you mean, though. You know, you can do everything for someone, but you can't live their emotions for them.
Yeah,
Like, it's
and
stuff
also saying vice versa, like you also can't do that for me either. You know, I want to make this very clear. This does not mean we get to use people pleasing as an excuse to stop caring about how our behavior affects other people. That's not what we're doing here. If I hurt you, I should care. If I break your trust, I should show up. If I treat you unfairly, I should do better. Accountability matters. Empathy matters. Repairs matter. But there's a difference between saying, I care that I hurt you, and saying, I must make sure you never experience discomfort because of me. The first is accountability. The second is impossible. This is where we're going to dig a little deeper. The next question I'm going to ask you might make you a little uncomfortable. Have you ever confused being needed with being loved?
It's a deep question.
That is, right?
Have I ever confused being needed? I think no. Like, I have the discernment to understand when I'm needed versus when I'm loved. I think people make themselves very obvious in their attentions. No matter how hard they try to hide, you can always feel somebody's attentions. You know, they always end up showing who they really are. And those that need you for something, you know, they're really bad at hiding that. And whether needing the way it's, maybe I received the sentence in kind of like the negative way, you know, because like you can need somebody and it could be for help, or you can need them and it could be for taking advantage of them. But I feel like I know well enough to separate when I'm needed versus when I'm loved. And I think, you know, that didn't come from knowing it automatically, though. Of course that came through, you know, like trial and error, knowing if I'm here because I'm loved, or they just need me to just fulfill something, or just like fulfill a role or a task, or do they actually genuinely want me here?
I have felt this way. If everyone needs me, I matter. If everyone calls me, I matter. If everyone depends on me, I matter. If I can fix things, I matter. If I'm the person everyone runs to, I matter. But what happens when nobody needs anything? Who are you then?
Do you share a relationship where you make them happy, they approve of you, then you feel safe and worthy, so you keep making them happy? But without their approval, you start losing yourself. This is called the approval loop. The problem isn't that making people happy feels good, because of course it does. The problem is when someone else's approval becomes the evidence you use to prove that you're worthy.
Babe, do you think someone can accidentally teach the people around them to expect them to always be available?
Yes, I do think that. I do think once people, it kind of goes back to the first impression thing. If you show somebody who you are the first time, they're always going to run with that narrative in their head. So if you show somebody that you can show up or that you're reliable, they're going to expect that from you. And that's, you know, depending on the type of person, they can appreciate that or they can take advantage of that. But depending on the person that expects that, if they appreciate that or if they see it as a way to take advantage of that. But I do think we unconsciously do that as humans.
Kind of expose our hands,
Yeah,
who
just
we
expose
are.
it. You know, it's hard to you know, keep hidden who you are. You're gonna always show yourself in any way, shape, form, or fashion.
Yeah, definitely. What happens when someone who has always said yes suddenly starts saying no?
Definitely a shift happens, and I call it the external and internal. Now, externally, once you start saying no, the people around you would try and gaslight you, manipulate you into thinking that you've changed. You know, those that respect you will respect you and appreciate and support you. Those that just want to use you would try everything for you to go back to who you were, to make it seem like you're in the wrong. And I think that's a good way or a good indicator on who's your friend and who's not. Now, internally, it could be challenging to say no, you know, because you're your own worst enemy. So you saying no, it could be very difficult at first, but I think once you master just those two simple letters, N and O, and you're able to verbalize it, I think after that everything else becomes easy. I think you may struggle with, am I a bad person? Am I really overreacting? Is it just me, or should I just continue who I already am, or the route that I'm going on? I'm already this far into being a people pleaser. I might as well keep going. But I'd say you might have those internal questions and conflict within yourself. But I do think that a change does happen, and I do think that it is for the better ultimately.
I was gonna say this. So I honestly wanted to kind of speak on that. Like, people then start, trying to convince you that you're being fake and all of this other stuff. They think that you're turning on them because they're so used to you being like a people pleaser and being like easy to get what they want out of you, or like always kind of reliable and always expecting you to show up or say yes or do what they need, right? But then when you start saying no, then all of a sudden you're two-faced or you're fake, things like that. So I was definitely gonna touch on that, but you kind of already touched on what I was gonna say. But aside from that, I wanted to give people out there struggling with saying no kind of an exercise that I did for myself, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't start learning to say no. I literally had to write with a expo marker on my restroom mirror, no is a complete sentence, and this was back in maybe like 2023. So that's about the time where I started learning to say no. And it's 2026 and I still struggle with saying no, but it's gotten a lot easier. And sometimes I'll find myself internally, how you were explaining, just kind of having that internal battle, like, come on, what does it really hurt? You've been doing, like, you showing up for them doesn't, it's not gonna cost you anything, but it does. It costs you a lot mentally. There's a reason why you don't want to do something. When you genuinely want to do it, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, you'll say yes. But like I was saying, sometimes internally I have that battle within my own self, like, myself trying to convince myself this is the right thing to do, like I should just show up for this person. But then I try to quiet my own mind by just remembering what I wrote on my restroom mirror. No is a complete sentence. I don't owe anybody an explanation. I am grown. If I'm telling you I don't want to do something, that's the bottom line. It doesn't need to be, I don't want to do this because my kids have school, or I don't want to do this because I need to go home and cook, or I need to go get groceries. No, I just don't have the capacity or the energy to complete the task that you're asking of me. It's not good for me mentally. Mentally, it's going to cost me something later. It's going to be detrimental to me later on, in some kind of mental or emotional way.
No, I do agree with what you're saying, though. It'll definitely be emotionally detrimental. That's why I do think, but I think it's, better late than never, I think it's going to be emotionally detrimental regardless, If you keep saying yes or you mean no, that'll destroy you. But if you start saying no, it'll feel like it's destroying you, but it's helping you.
Yes, and that's exactly how it's been. I'm still not at the point where I completely just say no to people, but I'm definitely, I started out trying to say no, but then I moved into isolating people, and in my isolation, just removing people that were always dependent on me, but I couldn't be dependent on them. That kind of helped me grow. And then because so many of the people that I were asking me of things then during my isolation were people that were kind of like not super close to me, it made it easier to learn to say no.
Now, would you say you used an avoidant technique to grow?
Yes. Okay. I feel like I had to go through isolation to grow myself, because if the people that were closest to me continued to stay around me or like be in my life, I would have never, like I said, had the ability to kind of flex that muscle of no, or learn or understand this is detrimental to me in an energy type of way, because we often think we owe those people that we love that energy. We owe them everything of us.
Yeah, and I just and I say avoidant though, because avoidant has its own negative connotation too. When you avoid, confrontation, when you avoid, issues head on though. But your avoidant technique was necessary.
Isolation.
It was isolation to help you
Yes.
grow.
Yeah, it wasn't that I was avoidant of people, because I was still very social.
Okay.
But I did at times want to disappear. I didn't want to be social. I didn't want to get too close to people. Sometimes I couldn't help it because I am naturally like a social butterfly, but I also need time to like recharge and like go into myself and kind of charge up my energy battery, I guess, or my social battery again. Imagine you're standing outside. You look up and it's raining. You didn't cause the rain. You can't stop the rain, but you can put up an umbrella. You can bring others inside. You can sit beside them until the storm passes, but you cannot control the weather. Other people's emotions are like that. You can care, you can listen, you can take accountability, you can love, but you cannot control another person's emotional weather. You are not the weather. Let that breathe. As you're healing from people pleasing, here are a few thoughts to keep in mind. Sometimes you're going to do the right things and somebody's still going to be disappointed. You're going to have to survive that feeling. Not to fix it or apologize for existing. Not fix it or apologize for existing. Not immediately take back what you said or give them something you don't want to give them. Just let them be disappointed.
That's hard, especially when your nervous system spent years believing that somebody else's discomfort is an emergency. But discomfort isn't always danger. Sometimes it's just discomfort. Instead of asking, how do I keep everyone happy, try asking, what is actually mine to carry? You can carry your words, your actions, your choices, your apologies, your commitments, and your integrity. But you cannot carry somebody else's entire emotional world.
Remember our garden from last Saturday's episode? We talked about building fences and boundaries. Now, let's go back to that spiritual garden. Imagine that you've been giving everybody the water for your watering can. Here, water this, water that, take care of this, take care of them. Until you look around and your own plants are dying because you kept giving away the water your plants needed. Babes, you cannot keep giving away the water your own garden needs to survive. How will you thrive?
This week's practice isn't say no to everybody. It's much smaller. Before automatically responding to a request, pause, take a breath, ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I actually want to do this? Do I have the capacity to do this? Am I saying yes because I want to or because I'm afraid not to? Then choose. No performance, no guilt spiral, just information.
This is a letter to one of my special Oris. To the Ori who spent their whole life reading the room. You can rest. You don't have to know why everyone is quiet. You don't have to fix every bad mood. You don't have to make everybody laugh. You don't have to apologize simply because someone's disappointed. You don't have to carry emotions that were never yours. You can care without caring. You can love without managing. You can listen without fixing. You can apologize without taking responsibility for things you didn't do. And you can allow someone to be unhappy with you without deciding that you're unworthy of love. This is the week you stop checking the room and start checking in with yourself. How am I feeling? What do I need? What do I want? What belongs to me and what doesn't? You're not responsible for keeping the entire room comfortable. You are responsible for being honest about the space you occupy within it. And if someone is disappointed because you finally stop abandoning yourself, let them be disappointed. Their feelings are allowed to exist, but so are yours. You don't have to become smaller to make someone else feel comfortable. You don't have to become indispensable to become valuable. You don't have to be needed to be loved. Again, we're not I don't know why I wanted to say negotiating. Okay. Again, we're not auditioning anymore.
The seed this week is simple. The next time someone around you is upset, before you ask, what did I do? Ask, is this actually mine to carry? And if it is, carry it with honesty. If it isn't, you can put it down gently, without guilt, without shame. Just put it down.
This is my favorite part.
Okay.
I get so excited, almost as excited as I do as when we sit down here to start these conversations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited that they come to an end because I'm so tired of reading. My mouth is so dry. So thank you for spending another spiritual Saturday with us, planting new seeds. If something in today's conversation found you, send your story, your questions, and your letters. Or simply tell us what seed you're trying to grow at spiritualblueprintcollective@gmail.com. And if this episode reminded you of someone who's spent their life hearing everyone else's emotions, share this episode with them. Not as a diagnosis, but as an invitation. Because they don't need another person telling them they're too nice. They need someone reminding them you don't have to carry everything to prove that you care. Remember what belongs to you and baby, drop what doesn't. You are not the weather. We'll see you next Saturday. In the meantime and in between time, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I love you, my little Ori baby Earth Angels. No.
I don't know why she laughs.
Because
I'm
he's
just
a
engaging,
character.
I'm just
Okay.
engaging.
Get
Get your spoons and shovels.
You don't need a spoon in the garden.
Okay, get a shovel.
get your shovels out.
Yes.
Get your pancakes out.
Okay.
Can you project more?
Okay.
Like, can you be louder?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I know it's in you because you're a New
Okay.
Yorker, and I've
Okay.
heard you get loud. Shut up, Gabriel. Why are you making laugh on the camera? Stop doing that. So they developed into stop. What? You don't even want to touch me. Get away from me. No, you don't. Leave alone. The cochino.
No,
Yes.
no. Don't let them know that nickname.
Cochino.
No.
He is. He's nasty,
Stop.
guys. I keep it. I don't want him. You can have him.
She lies.
No, it's true. Stop. You're putting that dirt. These flakes in my cherries.
Sorry. Take that out.
Take it out where?
No, I'm saying take that out there.
Oh my god. But you throwing all the couch dirt in my cherries?
No, I'm sorry.
Jeez. See, those are those
Oh,
fake
okay.
I'm sorries.
Stop.
Yes. You don't even know you're doing it. I told you.
When your nervous system has spent years believing that somebody else's.
Why did you say it like telling you your character? I'm telling you, Gabriel. What is wrong with you?
That's hard, especially when your nervous system has spent. Stop.
You stop.
Okay, I'll go.
You said you did not?
I did. Definitely.
Lies. Lying. He hasn't taken a bath in 3 days.
Stop. She likes doing this. You can carry your words.
Babe, I need attention. Show me love.
Stop. Okay.
Give me something.
That's hard, especially when you're.
Shut up.
Okay, I just gotta get it out.
Get it out. Get Stop. What
Oh my
happened?
god, it's just,
Tell me, what happened?
It's a funny video.
What?
Oh my god, it's just this video of this dude whose lock got stolen at a LA Fitness.
That's the dumbest thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard, Gabriel. And it has you dying laughing? Are you serious? Gabriel.
Okay.
I'm gonna spank you.
Okay, please help me. Come on, please, y'all, please. What is actually mine?
What did I do? What?
Stop, Gabe. Stop, dude. Stop.
What happened?
No. I'm just thinking about something funny.
What happened?
No, I'm thinking about a funny video. That's all.
A funny video popped in your head right now, Gabriel. Really?
I'm gonna show you it after.
Shut up. What is wrong with you?
Okay. No drugs. No droga. Yes, they gave. Yes, they gave. Yes.
Gaby.
No.
Lies. You're
No.
right. You wish. Loser. You had to say double loser.
Double loser.
You didn't do it.
Oh, loser, loser, double loser. Get the picture done.
You missed the whole thing.
What?
It's loser, loser, double loser. Get the picture done.
Okay.
No, it's loser, loser, double. How's it go? Loser, loser, double loser. That's the part I forgot. I forgot this part. I forgot to hook them.
Okay, she got to hook 'em.
Okay.
Yes.
Loser, loser, double loser. Get the picture. Duh.
Nah.
Duh. Duh, Gabriel. Come here so I can hit you in the head.
You see this?
Duh.
Okay. I hope that was worth it.
It was. Let me be gentle to you.
Okay. Thank you, my heart.
No.
What?
You what? Why are you looking at me like that?
Because I can.
No, close your eyes. Keep them closed. Don't open them.
I'm opening it.
Stop distracting me. I can't even get this done because of you.
Okay.
I love you, my little Ori baby earth angels.
Can you do that again? Because I was scratching my nose and then I was picking it.
You were picking your nose.
I was scratching it. I was scratching it. I was scratching it. I was scratching it.
You're being a dirty boy.
I know I was.
Gabriel.
And cut.